literally true. So, translation is the process when we translate one language into the another language. So, now it is the process of back translation. When we uh, repeat the same process in the back process, the language we have translate into the another language, it will be back translated in its original language. So it is called the back translation. For example, if your translations from English to Swedish, the translation would also write a back translation English, so the intention of translation option is easily understood. So it is the main point. The translation should be understood by the intention of the translation, and the option is easily understood. Back translation, sometimes referred to as double translation, is most helpful when the content at the hand include taglines, slogans, taglines, product name, because the implied meaning of the content in the one language, which does not necessarily work for another language or regional. Back translation, sometimes referred to as double translation, is most helpful when the content at the hand includes taglines, slogans, titles, products, names, because the implied meaning of the content in one language, which does not necessarily work for another language or regional. Back translation is often used as a quality assurance method. The back translation process look this: a linguistic translated the original source text into the new language. Then the linguistic translates the localized strings back into the source language, literally, to convey the meaning of the translation. Then the linguistic translates the localized string back into the source language, literally, to the conveying the meaning of the translation. The content owner or project manager select the option that best represent the brand tone and intention of the source content. The content owner or the project manager select the options that best represent the brand tone and the intention of the source content. Why would you use the back translation method? Translation consumers think that they can measure quality between the translators or agencies by doing a blind test. Translations consumers think that they can measure quality between the translators or agencies by doing a blind test. They send projects to one vendor for the translations, then they send a complete translations to separate. They asking them to translate it back to the original language. At the end, they compare the two versions or to see how they similar they are, and how their assumptions is that they can spot error by comparing the version. Here we have a conclusion. Back translation is also named as a back translation. It is the process of retranslating content from the target language back to its source language in the literal term. So basically, a back translation is a process while the writers assuming the quality of the version, when we when we retranslate the language one to the another language and try to assume the quality of the two writers, as I have discussed with you. So you have to write the complete answer, and all the points are very important according to exam. So basically, it is a process of retranslating content from the target language back to its source language in the literal term. For example, if you are translation from English to Swedish, the translator would also write a back translation English, so the intention of translation option is easily understood. Back translation, sometimes referred to as double translation, is most helpful when the content at the end include taglines, slogans, titles, products, names, because the implied meaning of the content in one language. A linguistic translates the original source text into the new language. Then the linguistic translates the localized string back into the source language, literally to convey the meaning of the translations. So it is a these are the most important points of the how the back translation process is going on. First of all, first point is a, li- a linguistic translates the original source text into the new language. Then the linguistic translates the localized strings back into the source language, literally to convey the meaning of translations. The content owners or project managers select the options that best represent the brand tone and intention of source content. Why would you use the back translation method? Translation consumers think that they can measure the quality between the translator or agencies by doing a blind translation, blind test. They send the projects to one language, and they send project to one vendor from the translation. Then they send a complete translation to a separate. They asking them to translate it back to the original language, and at the end they compare the two versions to see how the similar they are and how their assumption is that they can spot error by comparing the versions. So here we have a uh, it is the most important question which is repeated again and again in your exams. What is back translation? Use of back translation. Here we have a conclusion. Back translation is also named as a back translation. It is the process of retranslating content from the target language back to its source language. I hope you like this video, which is very important according to your examination point of view. Thank you so much. The question will be coming in your exam 100 to 250 word. You have to follow the same structure. First of all, you have to write the definition, and first of all, you write the introduction, and now you have to describe all the points which are very important. Each and every point as I have discussed with you in this video, which is very important, you have to write in your answer, otherwise you will deduct your marks.